Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Dan and Andy Show. I'm Dan. This is Andy. And we got another quick hit for you where we help you with digital marketing and business. Today, the question is, what is website hosting?
Got to be a gracious host.
Got to be a gracious host.
That's what my mom always said.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, it's interesting because if you're not in the industry, a lot of people actually don't understand the purpose of website hosting. In fact, our own clients will even come to us and say, "Hey, what's this monthly fee for? Oh, this is your website
I already bought my domain name from GoDaddy or whoever else.
Yep.
Isn't that hosting?
Yeah.
No.
No,
it's not.
So hosting, the way that I describe this, and I think most people love the way that I describe this, is your website is actually on a computer. And so I'll use an analogy. Say, pretend that like your website was running off your laptop and it was connected to the internet. And every time somebody came to your website, it actually was produced from your laptop, right? So that laptop has to run 24/7, 365 days a year, except it's not a laptop, it's a server. So your website's actually hosted on a server that's using electricity inside of a data center with air conditioning and technicians that are monitoring that stuff 24/7. That is what hosting is. So your website does live on a physical computer that is running all the time in case somebody does type it in and they want to see your website. There are lots of flavors of hosting though. So in our world, we don't just use one server for your website. We use a server for your logic, and then we have other servers that actually pump your media into your site, like images and videos. It makes your website run a lot faster. So like if you have an agency or somebody that charges you either $10 a month for hosting or $50 a month for hosting, understanding the differences in those flavors is probably really important for you, because at $10 a month, and I won't name names, we know who they are, those websites will either run very slow or sometimes they don't even produce. Like you have to hit refresh to get those websites to produce. That's really bad for lead generation. So be careful when you're just trying to trim that down. I would say, especially now more than ever, I think we all agree at this point that your new brick and mortar is your website.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't be trimming a $30 hosting fee down to $10 or a $50 hosting fee down to $10 or $15. You should really be putting everything you can into that brick and mortar. Not really brick and mortar.
But there's two main points I would bring up for this. Mm-hmm. As a consumer, put yourself in the consumer shoes. Mm-hmm. If you go to a website and it performs slowly or the load times are awful, you click off of that quicker than a New York minute. Yep. And you're on to one of the competitors' websites. Yeah. So, what you're saying, hosting isn't something you want to skimp on.
Do not want to skimp on that.
Don't be looking for the best deal, looking for the best quality.
Yeah.
You want quick speed, which is my second point. Not only does it affect the consumer experience, but it's also going to affect whether or not your website even gets in front of a consumer, because search engines, as part of SEO, will see how fast or how slow your load times are, and they'll ding you if your website isn't performing quickly.
Yeah. So to kind of like button up even what Andy's saying, it's like, yourself when you go to the store and you buy a computer. Let's say you buy like a cheap computer and you're like, oh my gosh, this thing is so slow.
Got a great deal.
I got a great deal, $300. And then you go back to the store again, like 3 or 4 months later, and you buy a $2,000 computer, not a $300 computer. And it's lightning fast. Well, there's two things that are happening there. When you buy a faster computer, you're now able to browse the internet maybe 10 times faster. So now you're like, well, no, man, now my internet's slow. I want to get a faster internet. So you buy more internet. So now you got a more expensive internet. A hosting server is the same thing. If I want my website to run fast, I have to have a beefier server. That costs a little bit more, but then I also need more internet. Believe it or not, those hosting computers have internet limitations. So you pay more for a wider pipeline for your website to come in and out of that server to go to your customer. So that also costs more to have a wider internet connection, just like your internet connection at home. Like, let's say you get a basic internet connection, you're like, I want to pay 30 extra bucks a month for the advanced, super fast internet. The data center is the same way with your website. So when you're looking at that $10 hosting fee or that $30 or $50 hosting fee, remember that $50 hosting fee is a bigger computer and a much wider bandwidth to get that website out there faster, which translates into leads and business. So don't cut that $30. Find a different place to cut your $30.
Be smart, be fast,
Yep.
be agile, be found.
Exactly. Hopefully this helped you guys out. We love explaining this stuff. Remember, it's not the knowledge, it's not the resources, it's the
Time.
It's the time it takes for you to do all this digital marketing and handling your business. If you have those problems, contact Dan and Andy.
Yep, we'll help you with your
you out.
time and your strategy.
Take care, everybody.
See ya.